Now, this will scare you. Now, Carl, you will be a little bit unnerved about this. Have you seen the film Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
You know what happened there? Well, according to the Sun here, it says scientists are planning to clone mammoths for a theme park. Look at his face, look at that, he looks like a dog caught in the headlights of a car, he's terrified.
I love Carl.
He sprung to attention
Carl.
there.
Is that the best news you could have?
Man moths.
Right.
Yeah, man moths.
I
Man
love
moths.
the fact that that's why he was so excited that they've bred a man moth. What is this? Yeah, it's a human being that hides in your wardrobe and eats the entire jacket in a day.
Yeah.
What do you mean, man moths? Mammoths. Mammoth, the big hairy
you heard
cow
of a
from the
mammoth?
Ice Age. I mean, elephant.
You're not so excited about that, then? You can take or leave bringing back mammoths to life, but a man moth?
A man moth is a different matter. Oh, if we'd have never brought that up, he'd have gone and told someone now.
Yeah.
You know, they've bred an half man, half moth.
This is what we
That's how
mean.
things start.
This is what we mean when you hear these ghost
Are you
stories.
slightly deaf? Is that it? When you hear these stories, you're slightly deaf. And his head was in the basket, and he went, "Count how many times I blink." Is it?
Carl, is English your first language? Are you actually foreign? Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Should we speak
when we say
slower?
foreign, we mean not of this planet.
Yeah. Should we speak slower? Would that be a help to you?
No, go on. Next
What do you
one.
make of that?
Do you think that's good?
Seriously,
Do you
the
think that's
idea
good
of
to bring
bringing
back mammoths?
prehistoric animals.
These giant elephants.
They're slow, aren't they? It's not as if they're going to, like, get out and run fast and they can't capture them.
They'd probably be a fence, to be honest, Carl. They'd probably be a fence.
No, but I'm saying, but you're asking it as if, like, oh, it could all go wrong, but it couldn't, could it?
Well,
really?
but the point was about Jurassic Park is they thought it wouldn't go wrong, and they thought they had it all under
Yeah, but
control.
that was
and
Have you learned
dinosaurs.
nothing from Jurassic Park, Carl?
Dinosaurs would say, oh, think about it before you do it. But with a hairy elephant, it's not going to...
not a concern for you. Would you go along to see him? Would you be interested in that?
If it was in the area.
He's the best. He's great, isn't he? I'd love a queue,
Nothing
right?
impresses
No,
him.
but what I'd like to do is Carl sitting like Yoda in a little cave, and I'd just like to see people like Tony Blair and, you know, Stephen Hawkins in a queue, and they go and say, "Carl, got a bit of a problem."
And thinking of cloning a man and a moth.
Yeah.
Problem? Not an issue. No, if I'm in the area, I might cruise around and have a look at it. Otherwise, just don't send it near my clothes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it's just for a second. As the words "man moth" came into your head, how excited were you? I mean, were you both terrified and excited? For the moment when you thought that they'd cloned a man and a moth.
I pictured...
What kind of face did he have? Did he have the moth's head, or was it a man's head?
just a little man head.
Right, what was his face? What did it look like?
He just was like a bit shocked.
Perplexed, yeah.
Yeah,
So it was like he'd been grafted onto the body of a moth without his consent.
And when he was asleep,
lad.
Yeah, he'd woken up.
he just went in to have a goiter removed,
Yeah.
and they said, "We've
He
replaced
woke
your
up with
goiter with the body of a giant moth."
Yeah.
Is that all right, Mr. Jenkins?
So he had the head of a little. Was it a little boy or a man?
little man,
Right. Okay.
and he's just bumping into a lamp.
Just rubbing into the.
If you went into hospital and they'd done something, what's the worst thing they could do, right? What would you rather have done, right? You wake up and you've got lobster claws for hands.
Right.
You wake up and you've got duck's feet. Or you wake up and you've got one horn coming out of your head.
The worst thing,
Yeah.
probably the horn coming out of my head.
Why?
Get in the way.
That'd be useful, wouldn't it, in fights and stuff? And for like parties, people would play
Well, I suppose
quoits.
the lobster claws would also be quite handy there.
Definitely.
So
First show back.
yeah, it's not bad.
It's great to be
I'm
back.
just thinking about that money, Rick. To be honest,
I
it's
know.
still playing on my mind.
I know. Yeah.
Could we maybe get like a sort of telethon type thing going, or a little charity thing, just sort of help me pay?
You can't really ask people to send you money. It's
Really?
technically begging.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you're are you a registered charity?
I suppose not. Not really.
We could probably get you status.
Yeah. But could I promise? I mean, could I pretend to give them something in return? I mean, am I allowed to sell things on the radio?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
Although you probably get in trouble with the authority if you're using it to sort of like to your own.
Totally.
Not like everyone else doesn't.
Not exactly. Yeah.
Free lunches and
Yeah.
sponsorship and God knows
yeah,
what.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably the people that work here, small fry, the scum.
Exactly. The nobodies. Yeah.
Yeah.
But 165 quid it's quite a lot of money. So I mean, if you want to contribute anything, Rick, as I said before, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. No, I would if I felt any responsibility.
Right.
or Ked.
Sure.
But yeah, I got there too early, which is annoying. What we should have done really was get you your plane and come back, because I'd have had time.
Do you know, I was going to mention it at the time, but I didn't want to because I knew the answer would be no. So I was off.
Oh, Carl. Oh, I've had a great time. I've forgotten how good it was just to have a normal just to have a conversation with you. Have you been looking forward to this? He's really down today, isn't he?
He's down, man, isn't he?
Just a bit tired.
But it's interesting because I said to him, did you enjoy Edinburgh? He spent the week up in Edinburgh,
Yeah.
obviously, and he said, yeah, well of him. He loved it up there. He's been partying every night, and he actually enjoyed it. And I've never met him when he's actually enjoyed anything before. He's never enjoyed anything, as far as I know. And I'm depressed that we weren't involved.
His paper round.
He loved the paper round, and this is the first time.
He was talking about that the other day as well. About I said to him, that's what he really thinks that paper round he had when he was 14 was the best job he'd ever had.
Yeah.
He still thinks it's the best job because he said he was his own boss. Well, no, you weren't. He went, well, I'll get on my bike and think. And he said, I bet if I phoned those people who I delivered the papers to, they'd say it was the best delivery they've ever had. He said, in fact, I bet a lot of them have chucked in delivery because it went downhill. This is all, he's thinking this as he went along.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Imagine phoning someone up and saying, you don't remember me, but I used to deliver your paper 10 years ago. Was it the best delivery service you've ever had?
No, but if I said I delivered it 10 years ago, you used to, if you got up at like 6 in the morning, it was there for you.
Yeah.
There's no other paper boy who could guarantee that they'd have that paper when they got
Carl,
out of
if you
bed.
could earn enough money, would you do a paper round again? If that was your job, but you were being paid enough to make a living from it, is that something you think about? Do you think you'd enjoy it as much nowadays?
Yeah, I reckon I would, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, listen to some music.
Sure.
£1,000 a week, would you do the best?
Yeah.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Is there anyone out there who is willing to test that? Is there anyone who's willing to pay Carl, right,
grand.
some of them a grand,
Yeah.
to take a week off work and deliver papers just for that week?
All day though, it's all day.
No. I'll
What?
get up and the customers will have their paper.
Yeah, but can I tell you
6
what
o'clock in
street
the
it
morning.
is?
No, because
No, it's the M25.
see,
You are being paid £1,000.
Yeah,
Carl. They may ask for a
you
little
got to
bit more.
deliver to the M25. I'll tell you what. Let's take the mood down a little bit and play one of the most beautiful songs I've been looking forward to getting back on the road. Just play this, to be honest. It's Jimmy Webb's version of Galveston. Galveston, there by the brilliant Jimmy Webb. Who wrote it?
Who wrote it?
He wrote it.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant Jimmy Webb. Who wrote it?
Yeah.
It was all one sentence.
Yes.
Did I confuse you?
Again, yeah.
With my speech patterns.
It's just using the English language is always helpful.
But compared to Carl, I'm Oscar Wilde,
I
aren't I?
suppose so.
Not long to go on our a triumphant return. I think.
Oh,
I
I
think the
would say
papers
so.
would be saying, Steve.
Yes.
Carl. I've met Carl a couple of times in our sabbatical, and he said to me once. He said, oysters. So I said, have you ever tried oysters? I don't like them. And I went, I said, oh, it's just a thing about swallowing them whole. You know, he went, well, the reason you have to do that is because they're fatally poisonous, and if you bite into them, they kill you. And I went, well, of course they don't. He went, yeah. I went, well, of course they wouldn't. What if you chewed on it? He said, no. I said, well, so you swallow them whole and they're not poisonous. He went, yeah. See. He said, when you swallow heroin in a Johnny, he says that doesn't kill you, does it? That was it.
Oh.
And then about a week later, he went, I was wrong about them. Yeah, I went, well, he said, yeah. And what did you say?
it's if you eat them and then you have some whiskey.
They turn deadly when whiskey comes into contact with them.
Yeah, when they've had a drink.
They get a bit rowdy in your stomach. They start fighting. They can cause
get hilarious.
So
Rupture.
what are you saying now? Are you saying you don't believe that?
Am I saying what?
Are you saying you don't believe
Look,
that?
he thinks he's got us here. He thinks he's got us here. Yeah, I don't believe that if you eat an oyster, then drink some whiskey, you die.
You might not die straight away, but you won't feel.
Eventually, 50 years' time.
If you've got to keep on drinking whiskey.
Yeah,
a bottle a day.
50 or 60 years later, he was dead. Yeah. Oyster and a bottle of whiskey a day. Oh, then out of nowhere, 40 years later.
Where does this information come from, Carl?
If some doctor called up now,
Yeah.
and put you right, would you believe him?
If it wasn't Dr. Fox, yeah.
What about the airy lads growing up with the werewolves and that?
They didn't grow up with werewolves.
Grow up with werewolves.
You've confused about three
Just a
different stories
genetic
there.
mutation where they were born with very, very hirsute.
There were a couple of kids, yes,
They
we
didn't
know.
grow up with wolves, and you can't kill them with a silver bullet. I mean, You're confusing two things.
There were some kids who were very, very hairy, yes.
Yeah.
They're in folklore. There were some kids who grew up with wolves, yes. I don't think the two are connected.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as werewolves, Carl.
You
Believe me, I saw a documentary on it on the History Channel. You'd have loved it.
You grew up with a
history of
magpie.
werewolves.
You know, you don't flap around, do you, and steal people's jewellery?
What was the thing you told me about snails?
Have you ever had any post that looks like it's been opened?
Occasionally, yeah.
Right. Well, what it is, it's not your postman having a
sneaky look.
A sneaky look. Problem is,
right.
Slugs.
The problem's slugs.
Slugs at night. They like nipping about and that, and it gets a bit cold. And in London, like in the country, they go into the grass, don't they?
Right.
But in London, it's like, oh, what can we do? And they go in letterboxes.
Slugs go in letterboxes.
Get in letterboxes. It's nice and warm in there, dry and what have you. And
these are homeless slugs, aren't they? The ones that have lost their shell.
When they're in there, they only found out that they love glue. They've been eating the glue off the stamps.
Right.
And people have been getting charged for post because it hasn't had stamps on it. It's like, well, they put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
It's like slugs have been eating it.
Sure.
And they also eat the glue that's on the actual envelope shutter. And it's a real popular problem, this, that letters are being lost and opened and all that stuff. Yeah. Slugs.
Are slugs like stealing postal orders and things and catching them in and stuff?
Yeah, again, you know, if there's a doctor, if there's a postman.
Yeah.
Well, with us two expert witnesses, a doctor and a postman. So postage is a real problem.
When we see a slug's trail or a snail's trail,
it's glue.
That's the glue they've stolen, is it? That's a little.
I'm not going to say yes to that because I'm not sure.
But we could follow that trail and find them, and they'd have a big sort of
big pile of letters.
Our stamps and
there they are,
like birthday cards from our aunts and
but £2 notes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Wow. Slugs. Wow. So, oysters and whiskey kill you, and slugs.
Be very careful if you're going to go out this evening. You're thinking of having a whiskey, maybe some oysters. Be very, very careful.
Yeah, and if you are going to post a letter, please do not use tasty glue.
Well, I'm still not convinced by this idea of this space has got to be filled. You know, people just choose to buy things and fill up their house with those things because they give them pleasure.
Most things we've got are junk. If you didn't have junk, all you'd have is a cooker, a bath, maybe a sink, a bed, and that would be it. Anything else, a television isn't necessary, is it?
You seem to think that people should live like, you know, kind of 19th century mining community.
Well, no, but like a few years ago, people worked this out, didn't they? They all went minimalistic because they said
what?
Say what?
Minimalistic.
So one more time.
Minimalistic.
No. What letter are you starting with in that word?
M.
Okay.
Where are you going on from there?
Minimum. Well, it must be minimum.
Yeah. So it's what that.
Minimalistic.
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 No.
Well, you know what I mean.
No, wait. You're popping in an M where there should be an N.
Minimalistic.
You put in two M's when there should be one M, right? Minimalistic.
Minimalistic.
Yeah.
Wow! Woo!
Right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
That's the end of the first episode.
It's gone well. So anyway, a couple of years back, everyone went.
Yeah, that was the trend, wasn't it? But we've gone back to being
clutteristic.
The way I live, like I've said to you before, it's the old 3-month rule. If something's not used over 3 months, chuck it out because it's not needed.
So suitcases.
What's that? Yeah.
Suitcase.
No, he uses a suitcase every 2 weeks. He's off all the time.
He's off all the time.
Most stuff. Clothes.
What, if you don't wear a piece of clothing in 3 months, it's gone?
Well, why haven't I wore it in 3 months?
Well, because maybe it's a suit or a tuxedo and you've not been to any fancy balls.
I don't have any clothes like that. I wear the same things anyway.
I throw clothes away every 3 months because I get too fat for them.
So, you know.
But it does seem to me the way you talk, it's like you want to live, as I say, like some kind of 19th century pauper with a big tin bath in the lounge in the one room in your house and all the family bathe in it. And yet you wouldn't be happy with that, would you?
Maybe. Well, I've told you before about that's something I said when I was younger.
What
did you say?
When I was younger, I think I was having a bath or something, and I said to my mum, "Oh, remember when I was in like that tin bath in front of the fire?" She went, "What?" And now that's strange, isn't it? That you're saying I'd be happier with that back then. So it's like that was my past life.
Well, hang on.
Whoa,
We haven't finished yet.
Whoa. What do you mean?
Your mum said what you're talking about. You said...
How old were you?
Must have been a kid if I'm having a bath and my mum sat there.
Well, yeah.
Well, I don't know how you operate.
I assume you were, but how old?
Must have had time to have a bath. As you get older, you don't have as much time, do you? So I'd say 5.
I love the fact that after 5 he didn't have time to have a bath.
No, it's
He's
just
so busy. Carl, we've read your diary. One day it was simply went to the cobblers and back.
No, but
so you had time to have about 19 baths.
No, but as you get older, you sort of go, I haven't got time to sit in a bath, whereas a kid, it's something to do,
you're
isn't it?
staring at ants.
When have you ever been too busy to have a bath? 1, you're never busy. 2, how can you be too busy to wash? It's like saying too busy to eat. Breathe. Got to breathe last night. Why? I had a bit of work to do. What point are you making?
So I'm just saying...
This is not an anecdote.
You said that I'd be happier back in 1800s or whatever.
But what are you saying, that you didn't really have a bath in front of the fire?
You mean this was a glimpse of a past life, is what you think?
Yes.
This is just such a non-point. This is just nothing. If you'd said, well, then I went off to see one of those people who regresses you, and although it was a load of old bollocks, he regressed me, and it turns out I was the king of Sheba.
I love those things, people. Everyone thinks they've lived before, right? Did I tell you that, there was a documentary, about these people in, Los Angeles, that they'd lived before and they'd come back and they did a come as you were party. So they went as the people in their previous life. All of them famous.
Of course they were.
Kings, queens, leaders of men. Not as I was a stable hand, I forget my name. Right, 2 Napoleons, one of them's lying. I mean, absolute twaddle. We're talking about things that have happened since we met. We've done podcasting, we've done the iPod, we've dismissed that. See, Carl, when he disses all these great inventions and design, when he says you don't need them, it's just faffing, what he means is he's a little bit annoyed that no one's picked up on his ideas, like the clippable mat for the mug, or, I don't know, cat mops. I don't know, that wasn't yours, nor was the tie, was it? The stupid tie. What's that? What's the one about the tie? The tie that had a pocket.
Loads of pockets. But I didn't come up with that. That's something I saw somewhere. But it never caught on. I've never seen anyone wearing one yet. It's such a good...
It's not a good idea. It's like having a carrier bag round your neck. It doesn't make any sense. It's a tie packed with stuff. You want to...
Imagine...
Alright, Frank, nice tie. What you got in there? Baguette. It's ridiculous.
But imagine the day that the tie was invented. There you go. Do you want a tie? What do you do with it? Put it around your neck. What for? Don't know.
Well, I'll tell you.
What?
Because you haven't invented buttons yet and it keeps your shirt together at the top.
Well, alright then. Right. We've invented buttons. Are we going to stop making these ties? No. Why?
He's got you there, Rick.
There you go. Now, I'm saying, what are you doing with that tie around your neck? Oh, it's a pocket tie. It's a what? It's a pocket tie. What do you mean? It's got pockets in it. Oh, that's weird.
That's all right, I've got pockets in my jacket.
Yeah, no, but hang on a minute. It's a hot day, innit? Don't want to put your jacket on.
Oh, or a tie.
Well, if you're going to wear a jacket, wear a tie. Leave the jacket
I'm not wearing
on.
a jacket. I'm wearing a shirt.
Give it a purpose. If you're going to wear something, give it a purpose. Everything has a purpose. A tie at the moment is just round your neck, keeping you hot. If you're going to be hot, carry something. Hands free. And everything's always there. A bag, you put stuff in a bag, you put a bag down, you forget it. I always forget bags, that's why I don't like carrying them. You pop it down, you get up, you walk off, oh, where's the bag? A tie, when you go in a cafe or something for beans on toast, you don't take your tie off. I don't wear a tie. I would if it had pockets.
Go!
The country would look smarter.
Right, you have pockets, so what are you carrying in this pocket?
I have got spare change.
Yeah, okay.
Which,
You're rattling around like a cow in Switzerland, just like...
spare change, I've got, like my debit card in there.
Right.
Maybe got me little front door key in one of the pockets.
Okay.
Pair of scissors if you want.
Amazing. That's safe, isn't it?
Oh, that's a good place to put it, just around the heart area.
Yeah, and near the throat. Facing upwards. Brilliant. Carl, think what you're saying. So when you're on the beach and you just got your Speedos on, pop a tie on, go to the shop, pop a tie on.
Well, no, you wear it in the appropriate times, but I'm just saying if you're going to wear a tie, let's make it useful. Let's give it a purpose.
Don't wear a tie. It's alright. You do not need a tie with pockets. If you're wearing a tie, you've got clothes with pockets.
And it's going to be weighing your neck down. Come on.
Don't go mad. If you're carrying anything big, you buy the scarf version.
What else has happened since we met? 2002. Gay marriages. That's kicked in. Thoughts?
They've happened. Are they popular though? I mean,
Well, amongst gay people who want to get married, they're very popular, I imagine.
What's the point of it?
You know, I suppose they want to feel that there's an equality.
But is it just one of them things where they wanted it because they can't have it? You know what I mean?
I think any excuse for a fancy dress. They like to dress up. They love a press tent.
See, I just don't understand that. Whose name do they use? Whose surname do they go with?
I don't know.
There's a problem. Just creating problems. I always say that. Any problem solved is a new problem made.
Gobbledygook. Any problem solved is a new problem made.
Yeah. Like I said that time when I was in hospital, and, I remember in the 80s everyone was going, oh, there's not enough hospital beds and all that. When I was in hospital with, kidney stones.
Yeah.
Loads of beds, not enough pillars. So that's the way it works. It's sorted out the bed problem. They give me a bed at night. I was going, I haven't got a pillar. They had to go off and get one. They brought it back. It was still warm.
Oh. That has been
under a bed head. So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like, you get all the beds, new problem. Where's the pillars? Don't solve problems.
Don't solve problems. Brilliant. Point nine. Can I just tell you a story that Carl told me a couple of weeks ago?
Is this another ghost story?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I called him out. I was, what are you doing? He said, I've just been reading ghost stories again. He said, you don't believe in them, but how do you explain this? Right, I went, go on. He said, I'll tell you as he told me it. He went, bloke, right, just sitting at home, doing, watching telly with his cat. And, the phone rings, and it's a bloke going, is that fire, in your oven okay now? 'Cause your wife called. And he went, Carl went, well, 1, there was no fire in the oven. 2, he wasn't married. I went, right. Go on. He went, well, then right, there was a knock at the door and there was 2 sort of people in sort of white coats and they came and said, we've come about that fire. Your wife called us. He went, 1, there isn't a fire in my oven, and 2, I'm not even married. Right? And he said, they saw the cat and they looked at the cat. It looks a bit weird at the cat came out. He said, and then he went back and sat down. Phone rings, and they said, did they sort out the fire in the oven that your wife told us about?
Oh.
He went, 1, there is no fire in my oven. 2, I haven't got a wife. And Carl went, what do you think of that? I went, that's not it. He went, yeah. I went,
that's the end of the story.
What? He went, well, how'd you explain that? I went, explain what? I thought he was going to say, a year later he got married, but she died in an oven fire. Right? I thought it was going to be that. And I went,
that's what? People winding him up.
Yeah, or, someone did report a fire oven, and their name was Johnson, and they looked up Johnson, they got the wrong thing, it was the gas board, and they sent it round to the wrong person, right? You know, he went, yeah. I said, I explained it to him, he went, yeah. Why did they look at the cat funny?
Oh, man alive, Carl. This is really weird, right? I was in my house once, right, and the doorbell rang.
Yeah.
Right, I opened the door, there was no one there.
Yeah.
Right? And then I looked across the street, right, and there were some kids running away.
Yeah.
Now, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
There was another time, right, where, like, I opened the door and there was a bloke goes, you've ordered pizza. I went, I haven't ordered pizza. And I heard my mate upstairs giggling and putting the phone down.
Yeah. How do you explain that? Carl, seriously, why did you tell me that story? What did you think it was weird about that?
The fact that it was 3 different people.
Is this all the information? Is that the entire story?
It was 3 different people.
Did you fall asleep and not read the end?
A fire that didn't happen, about a wife that didn't exist, and a cat that didn't look happy.
Oh, I'm gonna have a heart attack, Carl. What? I mean, why did they look at the cat funny?
Because cats don't like spirits, do they?
What? And the other blokes were ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So these are kind of beetle about type ghosts. These are ghosts who walk the earth as the undead, just winding people up slightly.
That's lovely. That is lovely.
Seriously,
and a cat that did not look happy.
But seriously, why would ghosts wander around just like winding people up?
Oh,
maybe something did happen there years ago. Some fire. Some woman might have died in a house of a fire or something.
Yeah.
And it sort of all happened again.
Yeah, it's certainly a mystery.
It's a
mystery. I mean, I can't.
What's this book you were reading? You were reading a book, which is interesting enough.
It was the For Tea and Times.
Oh, Carl.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say.
Well, I'll tell you this, Carl. There is a track that will spook you right out. This is Warren Zevon from what was it, like about 1979, early 80s?
Oh, great track.
Werewolves of London. Play this, Carl. But don't be scared. 1978, Carl. Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon. Are you a fan of that?
It's alright,
Great track, isn't it?
Fans of Warren Zevon, maybe if you to know he's got a new album out as we speak. Although, if you're a fan, you probably know that already.
Yeah.
If you aren't a
People
fan,
who hate him would be interested in knowing that he's got a new album out.
Yeah.
Do you believe in, I think lycanthropy? Is it not called?
What's that, sorry?
Lycanthropy.
What's lycanthropy?
Isn't that werewolfism?
Really?
Isn't it? Do you believe in that, Carl?
They've found stuff, haven't they? They've found kids walking about who are all airy because they've sort of grew up with wolves and that.
Yeah.
So
No, you see, two things there. You cannot take on acquired characteristics genetically. So, if you grew up with wolves, it wouldn't suddenly make you hairy.
There's been pictures, there's been stories on it, and I reckon most people a lot of people have seen the stories. It's a popular thing.
You mean the kids that are born hairy?
No, there's kids who've been born hairy, right?
Yeah, that's it.
No, but listen, and they walk around on all fours, and they drink milk from a saucer.
Steve, this is
remember that time with the maggot in the head? And getting out with bacon, and you were like laughing, and then people called up and said, yeah, I've seen that, I've read about that.
Yeah,
this is the same thing.
Have you seen an XFM listener up close? Have you ever looked?
They drink milk from a saucer.
Yeah, they've got to be kept on leads. People who listen to this show.
There's no point me telling you about stuff.
There is. It's comedy gold.
When you were out of school, did you keep arguing with the teacher saying you're talking rubbish there?
Teachers didn't teach us about werewolf boys and ghosts. They taught us maths. God, right. Tell the story about the manhole cover.
Right, in the same magazine as the one with the cat and the fire and that.
Don't tell me that story again, it gives me the shivers.
Yeah, a cat that's got a weird expression on its face is against God.
Anyway, this isn't a scary story, this was just like physics.
Yeah.
It was going on about the nuclear bomb and how powerful it is. And they put a manhole cover on top of one.
Okay.
Blew it up.
Yeah.
Never saw the manhole cover again.
Man alive, Carl. Unexplained.
What's going on there? Something weird is happening there. Oh.
If anyone has ever seen that manhole cover, please get in touch. We'd love to know where it is.
Oh, that's fantastic. What sort of experiment is that? I imagine all these scientists on multi-billion-pound research budgets, they're going, we test everything. What would you do to a manhole cover? Don't know.
That's like letting a couple of students
yeah, exactly,
control of a nuclear.
Do you reckon it can send a traffic cone into orbit? Go on then, put it on there. I love that. Imagine that. What value is that? I might tell you what we could do. We could put the manhole cover on it and aim it, and then blow the bomb up, and the manhole cover would have someone's eye out. Fire it. See if you can fire manhole covers off the nuclear bomb. I don't know. Try bangers to a bomb. See if it's louder. Oh God.
Okay, listen, Carl. Play another track, and then afterwards, can we probe your views on the week's news?
If you want.
We'll do a bit of a White Van Carl session.
Smashing Pumpkins. Today is the greatest, because we're back.
That's true enough.
All right.
I hope people, Rick, were listening to that loud on this lovely summer's day.
I mean, no, not too loud.
Well,
don't annoy people. White Van Carl.
Yeah, White Van Carl. I mean, for those that don't know, we do this.
We ask Carl the questions that the Sun asked someone else.
That's right. The Sun every day asks some, average Joe his views on the week's big stories. Carl, let me ask you now. What do you make of Prince Harry smoking openly at a polo club? Are you aware of this story?
No. Was it? Go on.
Prince Harry, you know that he's one of the royals.
Yeah.
And he was seen smoking openly, a fag, a cigarette, at a polo club.
Third in line to the throne.
Something like that, yeah.
Imagine that. Someone smoking a cigarette who's third in line to the throne.
A cigarette, Carl.
Is it a non-smoking polo club?
Do you know, I don't know, but if it were, would that make things even worse for you?
Well,
no, seriously, what do you make of it? This is, the whole, the furore is he's a role model, he's a royal, should he be seen puffing away in a public place?
I don't think it matters, does it?
Not a concern for you?
How old is he? Is he old enough to smoke?
I think he probably is, yes.
Right,
well, I think the trouble with this role model thing, with anything that's legal, it should either be illegal or not.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can impose things like that, because you could say that it is bad for you, and it is bad to start smoking, and it really is bad for you, you know, it causes cancer and everything.
But everyone knows that, don't they?
Well, yeah, but you should either make it illegal or shut up about it. Sorry, this is Carl you're asking, isn't it?
I am indeed.
Sorry,
So we can throw these questions your way as well if you fancy.
Sorry, yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
But Carl, what are your views generally? I mean, it's obviously cigarettes are perfectly legal and so on, but what about stronger narcotics? Because I know you're very scared of drugs and stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No, what's your concern? What's your worry?
Just that you might get into them. It's like you might have them and go, oh, this is alright.
Exactly, Carl. Exactly.
Although I was talking to you about it earlier, and you weren't very sympathetic about a lot of young people who have perhaps gone to crack or smack. Didn't you describe it as their own fault?
Sometimes it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I could have turned to it where I grew up, but I said, well, don't want to do that, it's not good for you.
Sure.
And I avoided it.
You turned to ghosts.
So you've got no sympathy for anyone who's a drug addict? It's their own fault, is your...
It depends, doesn't it?
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You can be an addict if, I don't know, something... I'm trying to think of a nice way that
well,
you might
most people start on stuff like that because something really traumatic's happened to them. Very few people go out for a laugh one night and go, let's all try it.
Sure.
So, you know, but, yeah.
Just say no, I suppose, is the
Just say
attitude
no,
in the end.
listen to the cast of Grange Hill.